For a long time, I was scared to share my true color, to be who I truly was. I was hiding in the story I was reading, fearful of what people would think about me. But this end now. I've stopped running. I decide to accept my diversity. Today, I will share our story of neurodiversity and mental health awareness. Welcome on the ADHD Melly Show. Hi, I hope you're doing well today. It's an amazing day in Canada and it's freezing in Australia because our guest is 1 a.m. where she is, and I'm so glad that she could make it. It's going to be amazing. We're going to talk about sensory issues and how to deal with it in your life, etc., etc. So it's also the last episode before my vacation because after this, I'm officially on vacation for a week, and I'm just so grateful that I have the chance of taking a break. So we're not going to wait too long. We're going to introduce you, Hwee, that's here today, and clap your hand for Hwee. Woohoo!
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, I'm Hwee. I'm from Australia. As Melly said, it's freezing here. So I chair a school board for a special needs primary school. So Joondalup Education Support Center is an award-winning school. We are the primary school of the year in 2021, and it's a very big recognition. And I'm so happy to able to represent my school to attend Melly Show. Yay!
Yay! First of all, we'll ask you to pronounce your full name so everybody tell you with your introduce you and being able to pronounce your name and know exactly how you are named,
Sure.
because it's very important that people
Thanks
know
for
how
that.
to pronounce them. So go ahead.
So it's Hwee Peng Tan. Got it?
Yeah, Hwee Peng Tan.
Yes, spot on. Absolutely. So proud of you.
So you just introduced it that you work at a school, but what that school does and why it's so important for you to work in that environment.
All right. For me, I volunteer. I volunteer to be the school boards in 2021, and after that, we were doing they have this award for nominations for the primary school of the year, secondary school of the year, etc., etc. And we are so proud of our school that even though we are a special needs primary school, this award is up against all the public school in Western Australia. I'll put it into perspective. There's 800 public school in the whole of Western Australia. So, and also we are up against the mainstream schools. So, the mainstream school include the gifted school as well. So, as me representing a special needs school and up against the mainstream school, and it happens. Yeah, we won. We were the only special needs school that went to the finalists. There's four, I guess, and then we went for the award ceremony, and then yay! Yes, we are awarded the Primary School of the Year 2021.
So why are you working with the sensory issues? Why did you choose that field?
Very good question. So we will talk about neurodivergence and neurotypical. So a lot of people know we all have five senses: sense of visual, sense of smell, sense of hearing, and then taste, and then sense of touch. A lot of neurodivergence struggles with sensory issues, but in actual fact neurotypical also have sensory issues. So right now I'm here to talk about, if we want to break out to the five senses and we're going to compare it between neurotypical and neurodivergence, actually they're pretty similar. So if you don't mind, I can go through the five senses together and you can add on if you like. So let's start with visual. So for neurotypical, it's very common, something very aesthetic, something we do see videos where the it's so satisfying to watch, everything is in synchronized. You get it? Yeah, everything, even like popping a pimple, people seems find it very satisfying. Is the visual input that they get is so good. But if you talk about neurodivergence, uh, particularly in children, we hear like spinning on the wheels of the car, obsessed with ceiling fans, washing machines, lining up toys, and somehow this behavior seems not so appropriate. So this is the part for visual. If you go through together, sense of smell. For neurodivergence, we always hear them. There's a common habit where they smell the food first before they eat. Do you hear that?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's true.
yeah, it's true. So yeah, this is one of the things that I observe. But if you go to neurotypical, one of the big things that I notice is essential oils. We all know someone who is so obsessed with essential oils. Sense the aromatherapy,
Mhm.
when they were anxious, this is the first thing they reach out for. It's just first thing they're gonna reach out for. So when we talk about sense of hearing, white noise for neurotypical thing, white noise. When the new moms they are trying to get the baby to sleep, the first advice they ever hear is turn on the white noise, turn on the vacuum cleaner. The baby will sleep in minutes. So white noise is yes, it's just a sensory kind of input that they are used to when in their baby in the mom's womb.
Mhm.
So very common. But if you talk about neurodivergence, most of them are very sensitive to loud noises. So noise cancelling headphones is one of the most used assistive technology that in my school. So in my school, you can see students wearing the noise cancelling headphones, walking around. No judgment, no question asked, no staring. It's just common. It's just common for us. So now, sense of taste and sense of touch is the one that I emphasize that neurotypical and neurodivergence, they do overlap. So for neurotypical, the one that we always hear is the picky eater.
Mhm.
They only eat certain texture. It's very common. It's just especially the crunchy ones, they only choose a certain texture. The rest it's very complex in terms of texture in the mouth.
Mhm.
So that's another topic for another time. So for neurodivergence, again, texture as well. They tend to put non-edible things in the mouth as well, just to get the sensory input, and also vocal steaming. Some of them they really like the vibration of the vocal cords. This is the thing that they do, and then one of it is also toothbrushing. Some of them it is really so difficult to get them to brush their teeth. Some prefer electric toothbrush, which is a good thing. Like we live in modern age, we can have electric toothbrush. Also, another thing is the temperature of the food as well. Too hot, too cold. It's just too difficult for them. And then the sense of touch. All right. This is the very big topic that we talk about. It's always, again, hyperactivity,
Mhm.
seeking of movement, ADHD.
Yeah.
Very, very popular. I mean, everybody knows. So for neurotypical, actually, I do see neurodivergence. They reach out for a weighted blanket when they sleep, the deep pressure that they want, have the sense of security.
Mhm.
Mm. So for neurodivergence, hand flapping is the one that we see. We do that a lot of time. Some of the clothing has certain material, textile, they just hate. Tags on the clothing, a lot of parents they have to just cut it off. And also personal grooming, having a haircut, brushing your hair could be so challenging to do. That's why I feel that I really want to spread awareness that actually neurodivergent, the problems they face, actually neurotypical kids also, I mean, people also do that.
Mhm.
So Yeah, that's the one. That's the reason why I'm doing all this.
Yeah, and that reminded me that I hate eating spaghetti because it's so messy. It's not the taste the problem, it's everything on my face. I hate being dirty.
Yeah, you absolutely, absolutely. Some of them they only eat the food that are in white, the color white. Everything else is just so difficult. You don't know why. I think sensory diet. Everyone, regardless you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, everyone has a sensory diet.
Mhm,
So it's just imagine there's 10 sensory tools in front of you. So which are the ones that you really reach out for? When you're feeling anxious, you really reach out for that one. Or even you find something extremely satisfying, extremely soothing, you seek comfort for that sensory tool.
mhm,
So we, again, we neurotypical or neurodivergent, we all have sensory diet that we always reach out for.
mhm.
Mm.
Exactly, and some people like the touch or some things. Like me, I have three cats. I love to touch the fur. It feels lovely. It calms me, etc., etc. So at
Absolutely.
least with three, at least I have one that is wants to be pet.
So true. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's so obsessed that when you see the texture you like, you just your hands just
Mhm.
go for it and just yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few
Yeah.
sensory yeah, I have a few sensory tools here that is sensory tools is such a big market right now. We have
Mhm,
so many things like the fidget spinner. A few years ago it was so
mhm,
popular. And these are the things that is able to fit our sensory diet. Another thing I want to talk about is what defines an issue. So when is it too much and it defines as a sensory issue? For in my opinion
mhm,
and my experience, I think it's when it affects daily living. So I'll give you an example. For a neurotypical child, he goes to a mainstream school, and he really has some sensory issues, but the school is unable to cater for his needs. For his needs, and gradually he will struggles to go to school because it's getting harder and harder. So my take is always if you find that there is if you find something is struggling, always get a sensory assessment by an occupational therapist. A sensory assessment sometimes might lead to a diagnosis. So SPD, sensory processing disorder. That is another big topic another time. But yeah, this is the thing that I noticed as well. If you were able to go for a sensory assessment by an occupational therapist, you will really know which are the things that you really need help with. Again, therapy will be the one that will be able to help.
How therapy works for sensory issues, because some people are able to work, they are able to go to normal school, but there's still some sensory that is hard for them in their daily life. For me, I'm
Mm,
lucky, nothing is too much for me. I don't have an handicap before because of it, but people have sometimes handicap that handicap their life, I mean, and they just cannot do their basic things in life.
really.
Sometimes for me, the only thing that I have difficulty, hopefully my roommate is okay doing this, is washing dishes. Dirty things, I just can't. I'd rather keep it dirty there than touching it. So for real. So how therapy works when you have sensory, I know it's different for everybody, but in
Yes.
general, how it works.
I will share what my school does for
Mhm,
sensory issue kids. So my school has one sensory playground which is in the outdoor and two
mhm,
sensory rooms which are indoors. So we identify sensory issues, sensory breaks for is so vital that we include into the school curriculum. So the sensory rooms and the sensory playground are free access to students who need a sensory break. we always talk about it's important to have sensory breaks in between
Mhm.
tasks, but most of the time there's no sensory tools for them to get the sensory inputs, which is why we invest in the sensory room and the playground where they are able to access it anytime they want with supervision, of course. They're able to do it when they feel that they really are escalating, they really need it straight away, they can go for it. So it really helps them with containing the escalation.
Mhm.
And for some students, in fact, the sensory break and the sensory is inside his timetable. So some students they are so used to a routine whereby after they do a certain things, they
Mhm.
really need the sensory breaks and they really need to have the sensory input. It's part of their timetable. We will individualize their educational plan to put that in to make sure they have the best possible outcome. So every student in my school, they have individualized plan that is catered for them so that they will have the again best outcome when they are in school.
So, for your own experience, what would you say to an adult that does not go to school and feel the need of breaks? But I give you an example. They're at work and they're almost doing a meltdown because it's too noisy or anything like that. What will you suggest to the adult? Because you don't want the adult to be fired because of their behavior, you know.
As
So,
yeah,
what would be your suggestion?
I would say the first thing is to look up for sensory to assistive technology. Is there anything that you can help with that thing? This is the one that I want to talk about. If it's not enough, yeah, therapy, occupational therapy is the one that you should go for. And the third one that it may or may not apply is getting a few activities that are similar to the condition. Example, a particular neurodivergent, he or she always seek movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have students in graduating, and she told me that she has ADHD, but she really loves cheerleading. It really suits her character, and all she does is, I want to be a cheerleader instructor. This is my ambition. It really helps her to identify this is the one that I love. It helps with my sensory issues, and I this is the one that I'm going to excel with. So if you're able to identify which are the things that you struggle and the career path that really matches with your character, if that makes sense to you, so it will also help with your career advancement. Another thing is I find horse riding is very beneficial, the movement, and maybe also rugby, playing rugby. So it depends on the particular person's sensory issues. Then we can add on to the activities that complements the issue.
Yeah, it's true. But if I give you an example, you're an adult, you know, and you are in a place where it's not happening every day. But should we do if it's something that happens suddenly and you're in an environment where you don't have any tools or anything? What would you do if it was you?
Wow. All right. I would think. I feel that if you know yourself, the sensory thing is coming, I would advise to have some strategies to de-escalate it first before it really gets out of hand. And but also I get your point. You want to have a quality of life. You don't want to always stay at
Mhm.
home just in case you get worried about everything. But my personal thing is you always have to seek for occupational therapy, which is more of a professional level that can advise specifically to what are the things that you need if that things happen. Yeah. So
So
I
talk to
will
me.
still advise. Hmm?
So talk to me
Sorry.
a little bit more about the therapy, how it works, how does it change your behavior, etc., etc.
Okay. So first of all, they will go for a sensory assessment, as what I said, which are the
Mhm.
ones that you really reach out for. So when you're feeling anxious, and there's 10 items in front of you, which are the one that you will reach out first? then if you are like I'm doing this right now, so this is the thing I reach
Mhm.
out for. Yeah. So if this the one is the sense of touch, sense of, you know, it's better for you to always carry something like that with you all the time, just
Mhm.
in case. And then what we do also it's like a functional assessment as well. Which are the things that you are able to do it by
Mhm.
yourself and you are able to cope with it. So these are the few things that I learned from an occupational therapist, that what she has shared to me. So the thing is, you have this sensory issue, and you really seek that sensory
Mhm.
input. What are the things that you reach out for that is able to help with that sensory issue? So again, if you seek movement a lot, you know, uh, first thing is there any tools, assistive technology that can help you? So we will always try to divert it. We will try to find something that is suitable for you, that you can use it every time. If not, and again, it's a sensory processing disorder.
Mhm.
This is again very complex. And if you have this diagnosis, it's not my level to share how it works,
Mhm.
but
Of course.
yeah, so SPD is again very complex, and that is the time where if you think everything doesn't work, it's really gonna be more or less a diagnosis of SPD.
Mhm. So
And
talk to me a little. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and actually I want to talk about is medication. Yes,
Sure.
this is one that where everything fails, you know, the assistive tool doesn't work, that, you know, talking yourself doesn't work. Medication, it, yes. So this is one of the options as well to explore if you have a diagnosis.
So talk to me a little bit more about your own sensory issues and how did you do to make them work for your
I'm
job
glad you
environment.
asked. I'm glad. I have trypophobia. Yeah, I even started when I say the word. I fear of small clusters of hole, trypophobia. So even thinking about it, I will, if I see something like that, I will get. It's very physically very very uncomfortable, and also claustrophobic. I do have claustrophobic. So I the first thing is I will try to avoid looking at it if possible.
Mhm.
But what I do is I feel that I can tolerate, but I know the physical reaction that I have when I see one. So I will tell myself, if it's bothering me to the point whereby I am unable to go out and do my daily tasks, that is the time whereby I really need to get myself assessed and see a therapy and how to help me with all this. It's never a good idea to suppress it. It's
Mhm.
never a good idea to, you know, I'll just the quality of life and the mental health. You know, out of sight, out of mind, or just stay at home all the time. I don't agree with that. I
Mhm.
feel yeah, the awareness is very important. If you know that you are not doing well on the daily basis, you really have to get yourself assessed.
Do you think that sensory issues can be caused by trauma and why?
Absolutely. Sometimes I'm in the childhood industry, like the primary
Mhm.
school. I feel childhood trauma is real. Is very very real. Um, when it's important to reset the experience. That is the thing that I also want to spread the awareness. So if you have a trauma, let's say you jump on the trampoline and you broke your arm, the trauma will stay with you for a very long time,
Mhm.
and then you feel like, oh, no, no trampoline. And even though you like trampoline so much and you really have that sensory issue, you just try to avoid it, and then you get very frustrated and things like that. So absolutely, trauma. I mean, childhood trauma especially will definitely cause sensory issues.
I'll ask a question. What do you recommend when it's super hard to find that very expensive evaluation? If that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. So I feel that if you are able to, so for my case, I'm always in this special needs community. So I always picking brains. We are always here to share and everything. So I feel that for the first step, get into the community, get to know people who have a similar situation as you, talk to them, how they cope with it, and again, speak to as many people as possible. And one thing I really want to also highlight is we always telling neurodivergent to you have to cope with your sensory, you have to blend into the neurotypical
Mhm.
community. But I think the world is evolving. We do have things that are cater for neurodivergent community.
Mhm.
So I of course I hope that one day we don't have to talk about sensory issue anymore, um, where it's so common that neurodivergent have sensory issue and all the community are there to support them. They don't have to go through all the expensive assessments just to do the minimum thing that the neurotypical community are doing. So one of the things I want to share is in Western Australia, when we're doing the COVID vaccine, we do have sensory room as well. So if you have sensory issue, if you have a
Mhm.
phobia to get your needles done, you don't really need to get you don't have to worry that you cannot have the vaccine. There are sensory rooms that cater for you. So I feel that the world is helping people with neurodivergent as well. So let's yeah. Well, in one way, we want to help them to get the assessment and help them with their living. But on the other hand, I believe the world is getting more and more aware and more cater for the neurodivergent when dealing with the sensory issues.
That's a good example because vaccine is a problem for me for a long time. As an adult, I can't just be there and accept to get vaccine, but it took me a decade to be able to just accept that I need vaccine, and just
We,
stay still.
yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, they was trapping me in the mental, the suit they put you when you move too much or you're in a crisis, you're and they put me in that straps and they make me not move and they took me vaccine who just yeah, it was terrible. So
Yeah.
it makes me more trauma to doctors and stuff like that, and
Yes.
all those things exist when I was a kid. So talk to me a little bit more about your childhood and how you found that you had sensory issues and they were problematic for you and for your family. Talk to me a little bit more about your experience when you were a child and a teenager.
Um, for me, I feel that yes, I do have childhood things that we take it for granted,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel that it has to come with terms with the trauma that you have. So one thing is realization. I don't have anything that right off my mind that I feel that I it stays with me until adult. But again, the I do have one right now. I will share with you. I have a little about claustrophobic, so I would never go into an elevator where it's full of people. I
Mm-hmm.
have this vision that if I go in and the lift breakdowns, I'm going to freak out. I
Yeah, I
cannot take
understand.
it. Yes. So what I would tell myself is the self talk that I tell myself that nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. The trauma, yes, is there, but then you will feel that nothing is going to happen. Nothing worse is going to happen. You just have to take the leap of faith. You just need one success is the one step that you can overcome the trauma. When you're just able to do it once and you feel
Mm-hmm.
that there's nothing happen, nothing bad is going to go wrong, it's one step towards overcoming the trauma.
Ella said, I'm currently processing through my PTSD flashback that helped me process my PTSD, and holy moly, is a very vivid experience.
Oh, oh,
Just do it once. I love it.
yes. You really need one success so you need one success, and you will feel that actually it's not that bad. Yeah, I try to tell myself that.
So, do you take elevators sometimes? How does it work when you have no choice? Because sometimes there's no steps. You have no choice to use the elevator. How do you deal when you have no choice?
Um, you really have to go for it. Maybe you close your eyes or something. I think it's I feel that it's the the visual thing that I see. Everyone is packed like sardines, and
Mm-hmm.
it really gives me the claustrophobic. Sometimes you close your eyes, or I will stand very near the lift door. So at least I can feel a little bit of the wind. I feel
Mm-hmm.
that, yes. So I feel knowing yourself is important.
Yes,
So which are
actually.
the things, yes, which are the things that it's difficult, but it's still acceptable in the sense that I can still tolerate that little bare minimum, and I will just reach for it and slowly build up the tolerance.
Yeah. And when you were a child or a teenager, what's your diagnosis exactly? Can you talk to me a little bit more about yourself, how it works through your life? Because you said that you work in a special needs school, but how was your education with sensory issues, etc.?
I personally don't have a diagnosis. My experience is working with children with special needs. So the we always tell the school that no child is too anything to learn. They are not too stupid to learn, and they are not too stupid or yeah. So we always focus on what they can do rather
Mm-hmm.
than what they can't do. So if they have this area that they have been struggling with, we will not push so hard for he or she to do at the area. We will not push them to overcome all the sensory issue they have. We will focus on the things that they can do and then hope that they can excel in that area. So this is the vision that I have in my school. We always talk about we always think about the skill
Mm-hmm.
level. So for this child, if he is we call it primary three,
Mm-hmm.
but his skill level is primary one, we will always bring it to a primary one level and make sure he or she succeed. Then we move up. We will never press them to do for a level like a primary three task. So we will make sure that they will have the best possible outcome.
So in that school, I'm giving you an example. The person is ADHD, but do they graduate at the end? They have a real diploma to go to college, or do they have class like that? How it works exactly? Because I know when I was a kid, special needs school, you never finish high school, you never finish. It's only to keep you in school because they need to put you in school. And not they don't really want to educate you. It's really because they have no choice to make those schools. So how that their education works.
So we do graduate. Yeah. So when we have primary school and then high school. So when we graduate, so we have education support for primary school way up to we call it year 12.
Mm-hmm.
So if you once you are accepted in a special needs school educational support center, you are covered all the way until year 12. So you do graduate in Australia.
So
So
you do
when
have normal, you learn maths, you learn everything that you need to learn, but at your
mm,
own rhythm, right?
yes, we do have, yes, we do follow the Australia educational curriculum. It's just that we modify it. We
Mm-hmm.
of course, yeah, literacy, numeracy, science, we do learn it, but we modified it,
Mm-hmm.
and of course we modified to the level that they are able to achieve, and then we move upwards. So everything is individualized. Everything is for every student. Their educational plan is individualized. So if the same thing happens, if a primary three student, his science level is like primary six, whew, straight away we'll bring him to primary six level. So everything is best possible outcome for that student.
So
Yeah.
some of them can go to college after that. They have the right education to pursue their dream,
Mm.
whatever there is.
Mm.
And
Yes, of
how
course.
and how it is to bring those students are going to go to college, will they still have some support for their study when they're going in the upper class, or no?
I want to share a few
Sure,
good story. Yes.
go
So
ahead.
I have one story that is this particular person. She has ADHD and she has learning disability.
Mm-hmm,
So as I told you, she is able to graduate up to year 12. And when she graduate, um, she is very good with dealing with early childhood children. So her dream is to able to work in the daycare center, dealing with
mm-hmm,
all the children, but because of her learning disability, she couldn't go to college. So yeah, but for you to be an early childhood educator, a college is a minimum.
mm-hmm,
So what happened is through our community, we talk to her moms, and then we are able to find a childcare center, the owner of the childcare center who is also a neurodivergent.
mm-hmm,
She is able to help this particular girl to get her certified without going to college. So a good example is they accept verbal answers. So if they're going to get certified instead of written, they accept verbal. So it's I feel that the awareness is there. It's just that you have to talk to the right people, get into the right community. There's people who is able to help to get neurodivergence to back into the workforce. And yes, I think that is a very good story that I really want to share. Even though she is not able to go for the exams, she is now certified to be a childhood educator. And thanks to the owner who believes in her, that sees her, that she has the potential to deal with the kids, and yeah, get her certified through her own means. I'm very touched, and it's a very amazing story to share.
absolutely, that's amazing. And how the school works to help children when they finish high school, of course, to find a job, to be able to put themselves in the society and make a living, because that 80% of neurodivergent don't have a job, and they live
Mm,
into poverty, and they're not able to sustain themselves, even if they have the mental skill to do it, but people don't want to hire them for some reason.
mm,
So
mm.
how are they supported in your school?
Yes, very good question. What is high school and beyond for this neurodivergent? For us, there are some schools in Western Australia. There are some high school in Western Australia that really position okay, let me see. So before they graduate high school, they do have a work placement for
Mhm,
them. So every week, maybe once, they will look at their strength, of course, their strength.
mhm,
And one of the most common career we see is, yeah, supermarket. They are really very good at doing the sorting and then the routine and everything. So if the student is okay to do with the job placement from high school onwards, they have programs to cater for graduation and beyond. They will slowly introduce them to the career they like, apprenticeship, for example. So right from high school, they will introduce them and then find the right employer that probably what the daycare owner is willing to do, like get
mhm.
them certified. And yeah, so it's just trying to get the match. So from high school, we do have programs to get the students to back into workforce.
That's amazing. So
Mhm.
before we leave, do you want to talk about another subject? Do you have something else that you want to share about sensory issues that I haven't asked you about or you haven't talked about? You can go ahead. It's your moment.
Uh, again, I want to emphasize that the world, that's why we are here for.
Mhm,
We want to educate the neurotypical community that neurodivergence, they have sensory issue, but we want to make sure that it's so common that we don't have to talk about it anymore. So, like, if you see someone doing all the sensory needs, as what you have said, if someone is really struggling, go up and help them. It's so normal to see it now. The person don't have to mask it. This is my goal. This is my vision that 20 years from now, and we don't have to talk about no sensory issues anymore. It's so common. So I hope that they will come. And also, I want to give some airtime to you. I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you. You are very inspiring. I feel that you are a story that I will tell my school about you that is so inspiring. You are one of the amazing stories that I want to share.
Thank you. I wanted to say before we leave that if you want to participate to the Neurodiversity Awareness event September 12th, it's going to be replayed. So even if you cannot be there live for the reason that you're sleeping, because it's going to be in the middle of the night for Australia, I'm giving an example. It's going to be replayed as well. It's only $5. You help me, you help my community, you make sure that neurotypical and neurodiverse people know about neurodivergence, because unfortunately, like you said, it's very stigmatic. They think that we are stupid while we're not. It's the best word to say it. So that's why I created that event. Of course, if you're from Quebec, Montreal, Canada, you can come in person. Please come. If you can't, but I want to meet you in person. So if you have the possibility to travel to Montreal, please just do it.
Oh, I would love to meet you as well. And
It's
yeah,
summer
absolutely.
here, and it's still going to be summer. It's going to be still warm.
Stop it. Stop it. Oh. Enjoy your vacation. So envious, but enjoy your vacation. You deserve it. You work so
Thank you.
hard, and then yeah, well deserved break.
So thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm going to be back next Friday with a new guest. Yes, my vacation ends Thursday. So yes, next week you're going to have an episode. So please enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, enjoy your sleep. So have an amazing day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.